city of Whitehall, Ohio. Oh, man, right in that man's face. Hey, but he didn't run off like no punk. He came back. He's on the phone already. He identified that the truck is on fire. Taking action. Oh yeah, you can see some flames right there. Look. Yep, there it goes. Look at that, man. That man got a explosion right in his face, and he still jumped back into action. Damn. Man, somebody's gonna be in trouble. Not him though. He did a good job. He should get a promotion. That other guy over there looks broken. Like he looks traumatized. He's like, hey, can we go home now? Does this mean I can clock out? This is a news station? There's a lot of dead air. If this is live TV, somebody needs to talk to that producer. Holy smokes. The local news from around the country is wild. There's so much national news going on right now that it kind of overshadows all the local community, all the cities, and all the chaos that's going on in individual cities. Let's check it out.
The 4 men accused in the deadly shooting of a 17-year-old girl over the weekend in Cedar City have now been identified.
Investigators say the suspects followed the victim's car on a remote road and fired multiple shots into the vehicle, killing the driver and endangering her passenger. Liv Kelleher is at the scene with the latest details on the arrests and the ongoing investigation.
I'm here at Mid Valley Road and 4300 West, where at least 12 rounds were fired into a moving vehicle. Police have 4 suspects in custody, including 2 charged with second-degree murder and 2 charged with obstruction of justice and unlawful possession of a firearm.
To lose a 17-year-old for no reason is just so pointless. It's sad.
While police have not released the victim's name, Kaylee Dutton's mom, aunt, and other friends and family have been sharing information on social media about the case and ways to help the family. According to the Iron County Sheriff's Office, in addition to second-degree murder, Michael Hess-Witucky and Ethan Galloway have both been charged with 12 counts of felony discharge of a firearm,
It's about time they released the
obstruction of
names.
justice, and drug possession. The other 2 suspects in custody, Aldrich Philippe and Matthew Sorber Petrie, were their roommates. All 4 men are 23 and younger. Sheriff Carpenter said that Witucky admitted to driving the suspected vehicle, while Galloway admitted to being the shooter. According to the sheriff, both men claimed they didn't know who was driving the truck. Sheriff Carpenter stated that the suspects believed they were being stalked by someone in a red pickup truck. They followed that car for several miles down Mid Valley Road here before driving up next to the girls and firing several rounds into their car. Kaylee, who was driving, lost control of her vehicle and crashed into this fence here. She was then taken to the Cedar City Hospital, where she later died. The Iron County School District shared the following statement with families in the district. We are shocked and saddened by the news of the sudden and tragic death of one of our former students. Our thoughts and condolences are with her family and friends. This is an incredibly difficult time for everyone in our community as more is learned about Friday night's events. The Iron County Sheriff's Office encourages anyone with additional information about this case to please contact them. We've included their information alongside this story on KUTV.com. In Cedar City, Liv Kelleher, KUTV 2 News.
Oh, so at least they finally released the names of these guys. Been following this story for, I don't know, about a week, maybe two. But it's really frustrating because the news in that community, the local news, they seem to be incredibly ambiguous. It seems really intentional also. And then the information that they're giving out about why, that doesn't make any sense at all. They said they thought they were being stalked. However, they were the ones that were pursuing. They weren't being pursued. Okay, one. And two, they said they didn't know who was in the truck. But they shot 12 rounds. So you're chasing somebody and you shoot 12 rounds at the driver without knowing who it is. And the news just reports that without any questions, without any investigative reporting. They said, okay, this is what we were told. This is what we're going to say. That's just weird. I'm starting to think that maybe this detective in charge needs to be brought up on charges as well, because he's either incredibly incompetent or he is intentionally misleading the public. At least that's what I gather from what I've been watching. This is a ridiculous story.
9 beaches in Sydney's north are closed tonight with more mysterious ball-shaped... 9 beaches in Sydney's north are closed tonight with more mysterious ball-shaped debris washing up. Mark Burrows is at Manly
Bowl-shaped debris.
What are officials
saying? Let's see this bowl-shaped debris.
Well, it's all a bit of a mystery there, Georgie. It's been a hot, sticky day, and all you want to do is go for a dip at your favourite beach. Well, that pleasure was denied to thousands of people up in northern beaches today after the EPA and the councils up this way decided to close the beaches, all after the discovery of these small marble-sized grey tar balls. You might remember there were many of these black tar balls found on the eastern suburbs beaches back in October. But the scale of these closures is widespread. From here at Manly up to North Stane, Freshwater, Curl, DY, and all the way up to Narrabeen. As I say, we've never seen closures like this in any recent history. Now, these balls, at this stage, we don't know what's in them. Those eastern suburbs ones contain a mixture of hair, fatty acids and petroleum products. And the EPA is now trying to look at these smaller grey-sized ones that have been found on the northern beaches and get to the bottom of what exactly is in them. They're not considered too dangerous, but the EPA simply doesn't know. They should have those results in coming days. And hopefully within the next 24 hours, maybe 48 hours, the beaches, Georgie, will reopen.
Okay, Mark Burrows, thank you.
Wow, I don't know what's crazier. The stuff washing up on the beach or their accents. That was hard to follow.
Tonight, a story of survival you've really got to see to believe. A Texas woman says a snake fell from the sky, wrapped around her arm, and then tried biting her face. But that's not all. All of this is happening while a hawk swooped down and then tried grabbing the snake off of her arm. Fox 26's Matthew Seedorf meeting with that woman here tonight who says she is just thankful to be alive.
I do this as therapy to kind of help me realize that this probably is never going to happen again.
A rare simultaneous snake and hawk attack cutting a Texas woman deep. Are you looking up now?
Oh yeah, I'm constantly looking up.
Her arm now wrapped in healing, but emotionally it's tough.
The nightmares are horrific. They're terrible.
Out in Silsbee, Texas, Peggy Jones had been mowing the lawn.
I was just riding along, minding my own business.
Out of the blue sky, a snake fell onto her arm.
Your instincts are just to sling it off. Then instead of slinging it off, he wrapped around my arm. Just wrapped around it. As I'm slinging, he's striking and striking. He's striking my glasses.
The snake over and over again lunging towards Peggy's face.
All you could see was this It looked like a big wide mouth coming at your face.
After 4 tries, a hawk then ripping the snake away.
The hawk, I mean, his wings are just flapping, and, you know, I can feel the wings on me. I don't really know. I can't say I know how it feels to die because I'm still alive, but I really think that I got really close.
She wasn't speaking English. She was hysterical.
Peggy's husband, Wendell, also outside, running over to help.
The first words I heard was snake fell out of the air. So I'm thinking, yes, you are hysterical.
I told him, I said, a snake just fell out of the air. He said, a snake did this to you. I said, no, it was a snake. And then the snake was trying to bite me on my face.
She was just screaming and crying and trying to talk, but I just couldn't understand anything she said.
I said, the hawk came down and he got the snake. He tried to get the snake and he scratched all over my arms, and his talons were going into my arms, and my arms are tore up.
I took that Dodge truck Hemi, and I'm not going to tell you how fast I went through town, but we was flying.
Peggy now looking up, thanking her lucky stars she survived simultaneous attacks. I think you need a lottery ticket.
Yes.
This is crazy.
Yes. Yes.
Torn apart but alive with a new look on life.
In the blink of an eye and the snap of a finger, your life can change. And you don't know if it's going to be a hawk and a snake or a car wreck or whatever. I just love everybody and everything more. Even when I eat a piece of chocolate, it tastes so much better now than it did.
Reporting from Hardin County, Texas, Matthew Seedorf, Fox 26 News.
What? Man, that is something that nobody's going to believe or would have believed if she hadn't had all those scars. Man, that is crazy. I wonder how many people out there are just going to be unable to get past her accent. Man, old Wendell over there, he looked like the dad from Ozarks. Not Justin Bateman, but his father-in-law.
Local 10 News has obtained disturbing video captured by a delivery driver inside a local restaurant, and it's not just any restaurant.
And this place was recently ordered shut due to significant health violations. And Local 10 News investigator Jeff Weinseer has the video you need to see in tonight's Dirty Dining Report.
A restaurant
Dirty Dining.
mixing food in an oversized bowl. On the floor, his bare arms submerged all the way up to the elbow. Other foods also being prepared on the floor here. There are no gloves being used. This video was posted on social media for all to see.
This could be a foodborne illness outbreak waiting to happen.
Danielle Egger has been a food safety specialist for 25 years, is a former foodborne illness investigator for the state of Florida, and owns her own company now in Tampa.
There are certain germs that just won't cook off with high heat even, so this is a big concern.
It was a delivery driver who asked not to be identified that was so concerned about what he saw in this kitchen, he pulled out his phone, began recording. He says the video was taken inside China Yan in Homestead. The address, 2846 Northeast, 8th Street.
You know, they have staph naturally on their skin. It can infect the food, and it won't cook off because staph can form spores that are heat tolerant.
It's against Florida's food safety regulations to prepare food on the floor, and China Yan was recently ordered shut after live roaches were seen crawling around this kitchen floor.
Floors are not considered a food contact surface, so therefore they're not required to be sanitized regularly.
I wanted to talk to you about your inspection last week.
Thank you.
China Yan has a history. They were ordered shut back in December for a roach issue. State records show since 2022, 7 of their inspections included citations for hand washing issues. Employees failed to wash their hands after cracking raw eggs, touching their face, handling a phone before engaging in food prep. A hand washing sink was blocked. There was no soap at a hand washing station. Hey, how are you? Mr. Lin, can I talk to you about the video?
We don't take pictures.
No, the video.
The video is
Why are they not wearing gloves? Why are they mixing with their elbow?
Sorry about that.
Why are they? It's not sanitary.
And we have seen it in the past where they have caused foodborne illness outbreaks from unwashed.
Hey, lady, he apologized, so back off.
Says foodborne illness is underreported. That's because it requires a laboratory-confirmed case. Physicians must specifically test for a pathogen And if it's confirmed, it's reported to the Department of Health for an investigation. And let's face it, most of us don't do that when we get a stomach bug. So what red flags does this food safety expert look for when she walks into a restaurant?
When I first walk into a restaurant, I notice the smell. If the AC vents up in the ceiling are dirty or dusty, it makes me wonder how the kitchen is. Another thing to look at is the bathroom.
As far as China Yan, Egger says the owners and staff here need serious retraining. But will that happen?
Why are they not wearing gloves?
We don't know, but you now know what was going on behind the kitchen door. In Homestead, Jeff Weinsteer, Local 10 News.
Local 10 News. See, something that I like about these local news reports, so how that investigative reporter went and did some investigative reporting. They actually went to the restaurant. They got some video that was not released by the restaurant. Right? Now, just imagine if this was NBC, CNN, or Fox, or one of those cable news outlets. What they would have done was they would have read to you a statement released by the restaurant. Oh, well, if it's corporate, if it was a corporate restaurant, they wouldn't have gone and asked them anything. They would have read a statement by the restaurant that said, hey, we do everything we have to make sure everything is as clean and safe as possible. And that'll be it. The news will be like, hey, they said they're doing a good job, so they must be doing a good job. Right? But no, it's a local, privately owned restaurant that doesn't have a team of lawyers or a big giant bank account that they can make a donation to the station, right? So the news is going to do their job. They're actually going to go, they're like, yes, I get to actually report on some news. Then they go and attack somebody in the neighborhood, right? I can bet you. Now, I'm not saying those people are cool, that they should be left alone. No. What I'm saying is that every other restaurant in that little shopping center right there, all the corporate-owned Chipotles and whatever corporate-owned China buffet, they're all doing the same shit. But instead of just picking on one independent immigrant owner, how about you go after the big dogs, right? Anyway.
Breaking news, if you're just joining us, it was just reported that famous celebrity cartoon actor Speedy Gonzales was arrested early this morning by U.S. immigration officers after they reportedly received a tip by an anonymous informant. Speedy Gonzales, a Mexican national, was apprehended as he exited a cheese factory in El Paso that has a long history of hiring undocumented workers. The mouse's temporary work visa had apparently expired, causing him to seek work outside the entertainment industry in an effort to support an alleged cheese habit. According to the report, Gonzales was seen trying to elude the ICE officer's trap by running extremely fast while yelling in broken English. Speedy didn't make it very far, though, thanks in part to ICE's newly formed Mouse Unit, which uses highly trained cats to seek out and capture illegal alien mice. American television personality Dr. Phil was at the scene while Speedy Gonzales was being arrested. Here's a brief video of the tense interaction between the two celebrities.
What's your name?
Speedy Gonzales.
Where are you from?
Mexico, señor hombre calvo.
Where are you born?
Inside mi madre, señor.
He's from Cabo.
With being the fastest mouse in all of Mexico, señor Telenico.
Are you a citizen?
Sí, señor. The citizen of Earth.
But you've never been deported before?
Before what, señor Dr. Phil?
How do you know me?
We love Dr. Phil in Mexico, so can I go now?
Not really.
Please, sir.
You've been charged with sex crimes with children?
No, señor. I thought that cheese was aged.
Let's take him in and process and lock him up.
Oh,
Also arrested with Speedy was his cousin Slowpoke Rodriguez, better known as the slowest mouse in all Mexico, with both mice expected to remain in ICE custody pending their removal proceedings. Due to Speedy's high-profile arrest, much speculation has been swirling in news media outlets as to the identity of the individual whose tip led authorities to the apprehension of the yellow sombrero-wearing rodent. The anonymous individual who called immigration on Speedy Gonzales was later identified as none other than Hollywood actor Sylvester the Cat, who has a long, tumultuous history of playing Speedy's regular nemesis, both on and off screen. It looks like Sylvester the Cat got the last laugh in his longtime cat and mouse feud with Speedy Gonzales. Oh well, adios amigo. Coming up next, border czar Tom Homan takes a more drastic approach to deterring future illegal alien crossings by setting up Amy Schumer's scarecrows along the southern border. Stay tuned. You're watching Daily Soak News, news you can't trust.
I didn't know how that one got squeezed in there, but that was funny. I used to watch that cartoon, and I remember when it got taken off the air. I remember his cousin. He was slow, but he carried a big old gun. That was his thing. He didn't need to run away because he had a gun.
Not one, but 8 local teens forever changed in just minutes. One of them is dead. 7 are now in custody for a very violent attempted armed robbery. And listen, we hear it too. The broken record, more teens committing violent crimes.
And the governor's office hears it as well. Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham held a public safety roundtable earlier this week to talk about that very subject of juvenile crime.
And it turns out it's been on their radar for years, but for the last 8 months, they say they've wanted to track data and trends.
Our Felice Romero joins us now. So, Felice, we're talking about a group of teens who allegedly targeted a couple at a local apartment complex.
Yeah, Trevor, Tessa, this started when 14-year-old named Alonso Sanderson and his 15-year-old friend Jariah Salas were in a car with a group of teens and decided to rob a couple in a Jeep. Now, this is really troubling because the whole thing was a large group of teens ranging from 12 to 17 years old. They were armed and scouting for people to rob. Lawmakers say when you're talking about teen gun violence, it's all about the balance between accountability and rehabilitation.
It was this apartment complex police say Alonso Sanderson and
12?
Jariah Salas allegedly decided to try and rob a couple in a blue Jeep. Court records show Sanderson pulled up on the passenger side armed with 2 guns, and Salas opened the rear passenger door with another gun.
They actually shoot guns into a car. 3 bullets go into the passenger of that car. The 14-year-old's dead because the driver of that vehicle shot back and shot and killed that 14-year-old. This is too much. Enough is enough.
Police say the driver was trying to protect his wife when he fired his gun, killing 14-year-old Sanderson. He was able to get his wife to the hospital where she was treated for 2 gunshot wounds. All 7 teens are now in custody. Bernalillo County District Attorney Sam Bregman says for some, it wasn't their first run-in with the law.
This is exactly the kind of situation for these 8 kids have criminal history, and they've already been in the criminal justice system, one of them as young as 10 years old.
Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham says the age of these offenders adds another layer to this complex issue, finding the balance between consequences and rehabilitation.
No detention means we have more juvenile crime. Now we have life in prison when they're 18. Too many consequences, no restoration means that we're creating more criminal behaviors in that soon-to-be released adult.
Now, when it comes to this case, APD is investigating the death as a justifiable homicide since the husband of the victim was defending his wife and himself during the attempted armed robbery. Tessa, Trevor.
Okay, I gotta say, this is another reason why people are stopping, not listening to the news. That was not an attempted robbery. They shot 3 rounds into a vehicle while with people in it. That was attempted murder. Right?
2 dangerous suspects, an accused rapist and an accused killer, are on the run tonight, each wanted on felony arrest warrants after failing to show up in court. One King County judge, Johanna Bender, is responsible for setting them free. Now, in a Fox 13 News Spotlight exclusive, the family of one of the victims and the Renton police chief are demanding answers. Dashcam video from September 7th at about 10:03 p.m. shows the seconds leading up to the hit-and-run homicide of 60-year-old Tim Gerchmez. 19-year-old Urias Morales Perez was on the way home from a birthday party in his 2002 Honda Civic. He stopped at the intersection of Airport Way and Rainier Avenue South, waiting for the red light to turn. Tim starts walking through the crosswalk. The light changes, but Morales Perez waits several seconds before he suddenly accelerates, making a left turn, hitting Tim, knocking him up onto the windshield, smashing it.
Damn.
He was hit 2 days before his mom was scheduled to visit.
He didn't even tap on his brake after he hit my son with his car. He just kept going and went home.
He was located a short time later by our officers, obviously intoxicated.
Renton Fire tried to save Tim's life, but he died at Harborview Medical Center. Prosecutors charged Morales Perez with vehicular homicide and hit-and-run felony. It was his second hit-and-run. Bail was
hell
initially
no.
set at $100,000. But then, at his arraignment 2 weeks later, Judge Johanna Bender agreed to lower it to $10,000, with only $1,000 cash needed to post bond. She made that decision before realizing that Tim's sister and mother had joined the court hearing via Zoom.
Were there any other conditions that the state wanted to address?
Yes, before the victim's family was on Zoom, and they also wanted to speak.
Oh, of course. I apologize.
Beth McIntyre argued against releasing Morales Perez.
I feel, and I think my family feels, that he remains a danger to the community and should stay in jail so he doesn't kill anybody else until his sentencing. I didn't even want him to have an ankle monitor. He killed somebody. He should have been in jail until his sentencing.
Judge Bender stood by her decision.
The law requires that I presume that anybody accused of a crime is innocent unless and until they are convicted or plead guilty. And related to that,
But that doesn't mean you can't hold them.
That people should be released from jail before.
And related to that law requires that I
So I don't
no.
think it mattered what we said or if we were even on the call.
Phyllis and Beth say releasing a homicide suspect on low bail sends a message that human life doesn't matter.
This is craziness.
Yeah, and is your fear not only that you don't have any sense of even some closure, but also that he might hurt other people?
Well, that was the biggest thing is I was like, why would you let a young 19-year-old go that killed a 60-year-old man and then not expect him to do it again?
The next month, Morales Perez was back in court, where prosecutors asked Judge Bender to remand him to jail because the county had a backlog on setting up his electronic home alcohol monitor. She ruled it's not his fault and denied the request to hold him.
So I'm going to allow your client to remain in the community, and in a significant exercise of trust on my part, I am going to believe that he is going to continue to engage in the good law-abiding behavior that he has been engaging in.
Then on November 8th, Morales Perez failed to show up for a plea hearing, so a $200,000 warrant was issued for his arrest. Out of concern for the safety of his community, Renton Police Chief John Schultz emailed this letter to Judge Bender challenging the comments she made in court, writing, "Good law-abiding behavior. Let's not forget he killed a member of our community while operating a motor vehicle impaired." And
it's
asking
a
for
second
on
offense.
her decision. So I can explain to my community, can you please help me understand the logic of allowing Mr. Perez to be free pending trial? I feel as though his behavior has been minimized at the expense of public safety.
Was there something on our end that she was looking at that maybe held a problem for him being held in custody?
And what response did you get?
I got no response back.
This wasn't the first time Renton police have arrested a dangerous suspect, only to see Judge Bender set them free.
Oh, hell no. Oh, my God, bro. You got these blind.
Jamari Wilson was finally caught by the Violent Crime Unit after a year on the run. He cut off his GPS tracker after Judge Bender released him from jail on electronic home monitoring. He's back in jail now on $350,000 bail, charged with new gun crimes. And then there's Jose Lopez. Renton police arrested him for rape second degree. Judge Bender gave him electronic home monitoring. He disabled it and hasn't been seen since.
Yeah, I think it really thwarts the trust in the justice system when our community sees it's almost like a revolving door of we're arresting these violent criminals and then they're allowed and released back out on the street.
While judicial rules prohibit judges from doing interviews about their decisions, Judge Bender did address criticism she's received. Her comments came at a hearing last October to increase Kashawn Jemerson's bail. He's accused of killing a handyman. Judge Bender told the suspect's mother she empathized with her.
This hearing isn't about me.
She doesn't
but I will share with you
empathize.
that I often get death threats based on the decisions that I make, which is equally frustrating to me because I'm trying to do my job, and it should not be the responsibility of any member of the public to threaten my life because I am trying to uphold the law. So I am very empathetic to the situation that the family finds themselves in.
Why is she on the suspect's side rather than the victim?
Tim's family doubts they'll ever get justice for his hit-and-run death.
Because she has contempt for the victim.
Perez has fled to Mexico. Phyllis says when Judge Bender released him for 10 days with no ankle bracelet, it gave him time to plan his escape.
I think she should be removed from the bench. I'm sure she's done a lot more harm than good.
That's a challenge in Washington State. Judge Bender was appointed by Governor Inslee in 2015
Appointed,
and later
see.
elected to the bench. Superior Court judges are not subject to voter recall like other elected officials. Families like Tim's can file a complaint with the Judicial Conduct Commission. They can recommend that a judge be suspended, but the state Supreme Court makes the final ruling. In his letter to Judge Bender, Chief Schultz writes, "I understand that it's your discretion to set bail for those suspects that are seen in your court. I also know that several considerations should be made in that determination, such as severity of the charges, risk to the public, and prior criminal history."
They should look at the safety to the community when making these decisions. I think what we're seeing is a lot of empathy shown towards the suspects, and without that same lens looking at how it affects either the victims of the crime, the families of the victims, or the community at large.
As of this month, Judge Bender is no longer presiding over cases in Superior Court. As part of their normal rotation, she's now one of the judges in Juvenile Court, where we will continue to track her decisions affecting community safety.
Wow. So you got the people in that community concerned about safety, and you got a judge that's not. I mean, that cop also, they're sitting there trying to unpack this and trying to think of a logical, reasonable way why she would be behaving the way she's behaving. It's contempt, right? That judge obviously has contempt for the community that she's in charge of ruling or judging over. I wonder if she's even a part of that community, because that's dangerous in itself to have someone judging over a group of people when they're not part of or never been a part of them. That's one thing, but still, she clearly has contempt for the community that she's, in charge of.
That over the past several weeks that they had noticed a red pickup in various places around the city. They believe that the pickup truck had been stalking them.
So we fired 12 rounds into their car.
Two of those suspects in custody have apparently told deputies the reason they chased and fired into a truck, killing a teenage girl, was because they believe the truck was, quote, stalking them.
Bullshit.
Andrew Adams is live in Cedar City with the update. And Andrew, what's the latest out there?
Well, to be clear, investigators say the 17-year-old was in this neighborhood for unrelated reasons, but deputies say the suspects told them they believe they were being stalked and they took matters into their own hands to, quote, make an example.
Make an example of what?
This all started here.
You're not an authority figure in that neighborhood.
There's a lot of families here.
In a growing neighborhood.
And interactions with a lot of my neighbors.
What took shape outside of these houses caught everyone by surprise.
The cops were here yesterday all day.
Iron County deputies were taking 4 men into custody here after a deadly shooting from one truck to another on a road northwest of town.
The black pickup truck pulled up alongside of them and shot the victim truck multiple times.
12 times.
The suspected shooter fired 12 rounds, hitting and killing the 17-year-old driver. The girl's friend was also injured by shrapnel. After their arrest, investigators say the 2 primary suspects told them they'd seen the red truck before and believe they're being, quote, stalked.
And they alleged that they were going to take matters into their own hands and make an example.
The sheriff says the teen victim had lived in the neighborhood before, had friends there, and was just driving through.
Very sad story. I mean, you look at this and here's several young lives that have been ruined by one extremely poor decision.
Deputies have identified the suspect driver as Michael Hess Watucky and the suspected shooter as Ethan Andrew Galloway. Investigators also arrested their roommates, Matthew Sorber Petrie and Aldrich Felipe, on suspicion of obstruction, as well as firearms and drug violations.
I don't really know what the situation was, but you don't put 12 shots in a 17-year-old girl.
No,
Neighbors simply remain stunned by the chain of events.
I've never met anybody out here that has it coming to them.
Well, the Iron County Sheriff's Office has not publicly named the 17-year-old victim. Neighbors told us they are very grateful for how efficiently and safely deputies handled those arrests here. And now back to you.
Andrew Adams, thanks for covering that sad case for us tonight out of Cedar City. Well, KSL was the first to identify the suspects in this tragic case. Be sure to download the KSL Plus.
Man, the way the news is reporting this, they're reporting it like they're afraid to talk about the victim, but the suspects. It's like they're afraid to say what the suspects did. Well, they thought they were being stalked, and so they wanted to make an example. Motherfucker, you don't make an example. Why do they keep saying that? What does that even mean? Make an example. Who the fuck are you to in the community to say I'm going to make an example of someone? It should be the police making an example. The fact that the news is reporting that. They said that like at least 3 damn times. Oh, they thought they were being stalked. So they took matters. They said they were going to take. Man, fuck what they said. Well, you're repeating their lies. Giving credit to that.
My first stop is a random museum, and maybe I'll go to another stop. Okay, here we go. Says your car is on the way in 4 minutes. Oh, there it is.
TV journalist.
I see it.
Documents
I guess
wild
I shouldn't
ride.
wave because what's the point, right? What's the point? Oh, but it stopped. I'm here. Oh, I think it's confused. Better run before it goes away. It wasn't supposed to stop
It's
here.
asserting its dominance over you.
Okay. We're gonna pick my son up at the random museum.
You should have clicked it. It never arrived.
I thought it was gonna feel like unsafe because, you know, my life is in this car's hand, the computer. But actually I feel like really chillax. So what I do like is that it's following the speed limit, so it's very safe.
She feels
And when
chillaxed.
it comes to a stop,
But there's a full
it
5 minutes
doesn't
left,
stop,
so.
not like a California stop.
Or 4 minutes.
No, like everything, it's something new. Okay, I think we're stopped. Oh my God. Yes, okay. All right, right now there's a green light and nothing is happening. We are stuck. And not only that, we're not even on the left-hand side properly. Uh-oh.
I wonder, so there's got to be
Our
somebody in the
team is
front
working
seat.
to
Right.
get you moving. Uh-oh. It was green light, it didn't know what to do. So how can I rely on a car to make the right decisions when it can't read a simple green light? Now we're going. Here we go. Woo! There's my son. Hey, Max, we're almost there.
Hey, Max, get me out of this crazy thing.
This is not where the random museum is.
For your safety, the doors will remain locked when we arrive.
So I guess it's a little confused because this is not where the random museum is. So I don't know what to do at the moment. Had there been a driver right here, I would have said, hey, you know, this is the wrong location, and I would give him the instructors, except that there's instructions, there's nobody here right now.
Well, you've already told it it's okay to stop wherever it wants.
See what I could do, because I'm completely at a loss right now. The location where I want to be is over there, and it's dropped me at the bottom of this hill.
Connected to rider support.
Go ahead and open your Waymo app. Okay, so go ahead and tap on your current drop-off.
Okay, which is Randall Museum, and it says 5-minute walk after drop-off. I would have to go up the hill and around the block.
Go to the map to fine-tune the location. So you'll go ahead
Let me see. Hold on.
So they can't do it.
All right, I'm just going to confirm it and see what
So
happens.
your
I don't know
customer
what to do
support
at this point.
can't really
I hope it takes me there.
do
So
anything.
hopefully it'll
but-
make a left, but it's not. It's going to make a right. Ooh, I don't know where it's taking me right now. I wish I could talk to the driver
I wish I was a little bit taller.
and tell him make a right, make a left. Wait a minute. It's going to make a right again.
It's going.
Wait, it might. Oh, it's dropping me in the same.
It's going
place
back.
where it dropped me off before. Okay, we're back to square one. Hello, Max.
Vehicle approaching.
Sorry, it didn't work out. And I felt like trapped inside here. I just felt like so useless in this. You don't hire a driverless car. It drops you off and then tells you your location is 5 minutes away walking. That's not even cool. My son could have ran or walked down the hill. That would have been okay. But what if it had been a disabled person, somebody on crutches and a wheelchair? They can't do that. I came into this with a lot of optimism, and now I'm not sure. I would say have fun with it, but be prepared to be frustrated. So I'm going to go now and drive down to the Randall Museum and see how easy it is to get there. Here we go. The driverless car, instead of going straight to the Randall Museum, it decided to make a right here. Made no sense whatsoever. And you could just see for yourself, this is an ordinary street. And the Randall Museum is at the end of the street.
But you still walk. It looks like the same street.
We have arrived. We never got here, which was the most frustrating thing.
So again, at the end, you have a reporter unwilling to actually say her real, true opinion, unwilling to describe what's actually really happening. She had to say, what did she say? Well, you do it, you have fun with it, but be cautious. No, you should have said, oh, hell no. This thing took me hostage. It took me somewhere where I didn't ask it to take me, and it wouldn't take me back. Like, why can't you just say that? Why can't you say, I had a horrible ride, I was scared, and I'm not ever going to do it again? Right? Isn't that your fucking job? Isn't that your job? To tell the truth? You have an easy job, and you can't even do that. You got to ride around in a fucking robot car all day, and you still lied about it. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and say what she was just too afraid to. Don't do it. Don't get in a driverless car. They're not ready yet. Okay, well, this is the part where I guess influencers or content creators, they do their little Jerry Springer essay, personal thoughts kind of thing. I don't know. I'm just watching the news, having fun with it, talking shit. That's what we do here at Not Without My TV. I am Chris. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and I will see you next time.
Not Without My TV. No, but seriously, bring the TV.